Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout. Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in.
My bad. I always forget to hit that button. What's going on, man? Happy Wednesday to you, man. We got a lot going on today. The conversation has been hot and heavy on Facebook. Man, I thought I was going to get at least a little bit of Eagles news in the day, being so close to cut day. But damn, this stuff with the WNBA and Caitlin Clark and Sheryl Swoopes done just taken over, man. So it's like, daggone. So we got to talk about it, man. Have some grown conversations, man. I appreciate you joining me on Pro Fan Talk. Eric E. Vapor Stevenson, man, you first out the limo, bro. And you got my invite from Facebook. I appreciate you, bro. I'm trying to get this conversation going. I want to have a conversation and not a monologue, bro. So I appreciate you joining me. Make sure you hit subscribe and do not be a stranger, man. This is how we get it done. This is how we get it done. We want to talk about everything, man. Yeah, Cody, go Birds. You already know. You already know. But I'm going to hit the Birds tomorrow. And, of course, I've been letting everybody know this weekend is Eagles Alumni Day at our game Saturday versus the Vikings. So I will be on the field with a bunch of other former players, waving, signing autographs, all that kind of good stuff. So that's going to be a good time. And also we have an event at Chicky and Pete's in Marlton, New Jersey. If you live in the South Jersey area, come on down so I can see you, man. Shout me out. But yeah, man, this thing with Sheryl Swoopes, we're going to jump right into this, man, because this has been crazy. This has been crazy. So here's the long and short of it. Here's what happened. Here's why Sheryl Swoopes been in the news a couple times for the stuff she said, comments about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and the rookies and all of that kind of stuff. So how this situation started. She was on her podcast. And this is a WNBA podcast. This has the WNBA logo on it. So the league as a whole, I guess, sponsors this. Something like that. I don't know. But in any case, so she goes on this little rant. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. She goes on this little rant about how well Indiana is playing. And she gets into specifics talking about this, what just happened in the Seattle game and everything that was going on. And of course, if you watch the Seattle game, Caitlin Clark had 29 and 10. Aaliyah Boston almost had a triple double. And of course, the big star of that show was Lexi Hall. Lexi Hall went 6 for 7 and was lighting it up. What's going on, Daniel Berry? I see you. Lexi Hall went 6 for 7 from 3. And she ended up with 22 points. And that is very uncharacteristic of her. And of course, Kelsey Mitchell was doing Kelsey Mitchell things. Now, I'm gonna find this and I'm gonna play it for you, but Sheryl Swoopes is talking about it, and she talks about how well Kelsey was shooting, and Lexi Hall just went crazy. And she starts naming everybody on the team, and she just totally omits Caitlin Clark. And I'm like, Caitlin Clark led Indiana in scoring, and she had a double-double with 29 and 10. And you just going to omit that? You just not going to say nothing. And I guess you could have let it slide, I guess. But it did sound weird. If you an analyst and you cover and you done mentioned everybody else and how well everybody else played, but the leading scorer of the game, or the leading scorer for the winning team, you don't say nothing about, or the records that she broke in that game. I thought that was kind of odd. And of course, I wasn't the only one. And then, not 20 seconds later, she literally goes, I got to give a shout out to Angel Reese for another, double with 20 rebounds and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but they got beat by 20. So you willingly omit somebody and then you hype up the other one in the L. And I'm not one of them ones that, as a Caitlin Clark fan, I'm not taking nothing away from what Angel Reese is doing. And she should get all the props that she get. And it is her and Caitlin Clark in the Rookie of the Year race, as far as I'm concerned, until it ends. So, but you can't, that what she did, what Sheryl Swoopes did, in my estimation, in my opinion, it would be like me if I were a WNBA analyst and I'm talking about the U.S. women's gold medal game. And I talk about that game and I do not mention Asia Wilson or Kalia Copper. If you saw the game, you understand what I'm talking about. I can't accurately say what happened in the game or explain what things were going on without mentioning those two players. Common sense, especially if you're trying to do a good job or be good at your job. So I thought that was interesting, to say the least. But let me see. I'm going to try to play this sound clip. Turn my desktop audio up. I'm going to play this sound clip and you let me know. You let me know. Let me see. I'm not the wrong one. I'm going to find this one. Let me see. Is it finished? Yeah, finished products. Okay, here we go. All right, check this out. Here we go.
I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. Like they look like they spent time, whether they took time off or not, but they worked on stuff. This Indiana team, I'm gonna say shout out to Lexi Hall. I'm a big Lexi Hall fan.
Mm-hmm.
I watched her in AU. Lexi Hall shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle and just couldn't miss. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston almost a triple double. I know we're talking about teams where they can move and things changing, but if Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standings. Right? They look like a different team. They came out fiery. Wait.
So that was it. I hope that y'all got that sound. I hope the sound came through because I got my desktop audio on. So I'm hoping the sound came through. If it didn't, let me know. But now going through and interacting and engaging with people in Facebook and stuff like that, I made sure, and I want to say this, and I want to say this out loud so everybody understands. I made sure that I wanted, if possible, if anybody's in the chat, just put a hand up or make yourself known, because I asked for any women that I engaged with on Facebook. I was like, make sure you join the show. I want to see you in the chat because I want a female's opinion. I do not want it to seem like it's just a bunch of guys bashing Sheryl Swoopes. So I come from that perspective. Plus, I got two sisters, man. I don't want them knocking me upside the head. You know what I'm saying? So if any women in the chat, let yourself be known and please express your opinion, because I want that. I don't want it to seem like it's a bunch of guys bashing the female basketball players like we trying to mansplain and all that kind of stuff. But we got to go back, and I wanted to do this. I want to go back to the beginning. And all of this all these odd takes, not even odd takes. It's been odd takes, hot takes, lazy opinions. But here's where it started. She was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. I think this was before the draft. And she was giving her take on what she thought Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, how they were going to do their first year in the league, in the W. And she said don't expect them to come in and just dominate like they did in college, which I thought is a very valid point. She made a great point. However, this is where she screwed up, and this is where the lazy part comes in. Then she started throwing shade at Caitlin Clark for no reason, but her reasoning was flawed. Because first, she started talking incorrectly about how long it took Caitlin Clark to break the record. She was talking like Caitlin Clark had been in school for like 6 years and took a COVID year. And it's like, that's wrong. So you're wrong on that point. Then she just blurts out some number. Caitlin Clark takes 40 shots a game. Well, she was dead wrong on that. Caitlin Clark was only taking like 22 shots a game or something like that. Then, she gave her take up on what kind of impact she was going to have in the league when she gets there. She was wrong on that. But to me, that wasn't really a big deal. But the last one, she was dead wrong on her age. She spouts out like Caitlin Clark is 25 years old now or something like that. And she playing against 20 years old. She should be, but she started going off about that. At the time, Caitlin Clark was only 22 years old. And she had only been in college for 4 years. She was a true senior. She was a fourth-year senior. So basically, she started spitting out all of this misinformation. And all she had to do was take 30 seconds and talk to the guy sitting on the couch with a laptop. Now, this guy, I forget what his name is. If you've seen the podcast, he's the guy that always sits in the middle with the laptop. And after she said all of that, it was about maybe, 3 or 4 minutes after that where he finally chimed in and said, okay, well, hold on. She only played for 4 years and she's only 22, and she corrected some of the mistakes. And then she, okay. Then she kind of brushed it off. But I was like, you could have stopped, took 30 seconds, looked on your phone and found that information. So that was the first time I was like, why would you even do that? Because it wasn't a good look. I'll say it like that. And that's where all of the shade and the hate and all of those topics started, from her appearance on that show. And then there's been a couple other times where she said some stuff. But the latest was the clip I just played where she just totally omitted. she was gushing over Kelsey Mitchell. She was gushing over Lexi Hall. You ain't even got to say nothing. You could have just simply said, yeah, Caitlin Clark is still balling. You could have said 3 words and kept it moving. But if you're going to be, at least in my opinion, if you're going to call yourself an analyst, and now mind you, let's not get it twisted. And this is where I want to make it crystal clear. I am not in no way, shape, or form disrespecting her game and what she has done when she played. She is a 3-time Olympic gold medalist. I believe she's a WNBA Hall of Famer. She was the first athlete picked ever in the WNBA. So she started the league. It started with her. I remember watching her when they came from the Olympics and won that first gold medal, and she was on Martin and all of that kind of stuff, because you got to remember, social media didn't exist back then. But she was on the #1 sitcom on television, and the whole team and her and Dawn Staley and Rebecca Lobo, they was all played a basketball game against Martin on the TV show. That was, at that time, that was the biggest thing. That was as high as you could get. So she was the face of it. She was doing it way back then. So I am not going to disrespect her game in no way. However, as an analyst with these hot takes and her opinions and her comments and just her attitude about it, to me, it seems off. And I don't know what kind of axe she got to grind with Caitlin Clark. And I know sometimes, we talked it out, we've met, and I know I saw the stuff where they hugged, and I was like, cool, just let it go, keep it moving. And, and then she just kept coming back with new stuff. And it's like, and I guess I just asked the question, why? Because I guess I'm looking at it from the standpoint of it's unnecessary. You in a situation where everybody's about to eat. Everybody's about to eat. The new media rights deal, you got a huge influx of money. Y'all just went from 50 million to 240 something million a year. Almost all your problems are going to be solved. Salaries are going to go up. You're going to be able to hire more people, more coaches. Everybody's going to get paid. Everybody's about to eat. I use the phrase that everybody's been saying ad nauseum. A rising tide raises all boats, right? Everybody been saying that. But for whatever reason, it's the optics of it. Now, I don't know. This is just my opinion. But the optics of it, what it looks like, is like she always taking backhand digs, backhand compliments, that sort of thing. And it's like why? Pump everybody up. Pump everybody up. Rather than doing something like that, talk about why the Connecticut game wasn't on TV, even though they sold out a 19,000 seat arena. You can talk about that. But it always seems like you get high on one side and then here you come with the shade. That's just me. That's what it looks like to me. And for me, because on Facebook, I was seeing this a lot on Facebook. She's a racist and all that. I'm like, nah, I don't see racism. Favoritism and colorism, maybe, but not racism. And the reason why I say that is because there's been times where she has talked glowingly about Diana Taurasi, Kelsey Plum, Breonna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Cameron Brink, a whole bunch of white players. So I don't buy that. I throw that out the window. But do I think it might be a tinge of envy or jealousy because what's the phrase that they use? What's it called? Veterans disdain, or it's a phrase they use where they're talking about veteran players that get mad, jealous, envious of what the young players get. I've been through that. I've talked about that. Minimum rookie salary in 1993 when I played for the Eagles was $100,000. 100. What is $100,000 living in Philadelphia after taxes? Not a lot, right? Minimum salary in the NFL now for rookies is $700,000. So I understand that. Wish I could have played in another era, made more money, and the things you can do with social media and the outlets to make a little bit more bread that didn't exist when I played. That's the nature of the beast. I was born when I was born. 70 was my year. I can't do nothing about that. I like the joke. I went to college before Windows 95 was a thing. I graduated college in 93. Windows 95 wasn't even out yet. I was still working in DOS. But my point is, that was my era. I missed it. I missed the money. Can't do nothing about it. So that's the only thing I can see. Like I said, I don't buy the racism stuff. I just don't. I just think for whatever reason, again, the optics of it, I could be 100% wrong. But based on what I've seen, based on what I've heard, in my opinion, she got some type of axe to grind with Caitlin Clark. At least that's what it looks like. And because of the era that we are in, because we are in this social media landscape now, the optics matter a lot. And one of my issues with, I guess, how she's going about this is, for all her accolades that I just mentioned a minute ago, the Olympics, being on TV, first one in the league, now she's been an analyst, she's been a coach, all of that. For all of her accolades, she's been in this game long enough to know. You know how the sausage is made. This shouldn't be a surprise when you put stuff out there like that. It's two people that's undefeated in this world: the internet and Father Time. Father Time's got a little bit better record than the internet does. So you're going to lose those battles, because what's the thing that everybody says now? Everybody got receipts. So you can go back, listen to what the clip I just played. It's everywhere. It's on YouTube, and other people have made content about it. You can listen to it and judge for yourself. You might say, Coach, you overreacted. You overreact. I even asked people that I know that are coaches and that are in the. That's exactly why I wanted some women in the chat to make sure. Like, am I overreacting? Because I do believe there's a lot of people. There's a big contingency of people that can't that have a hard time quantifying what they're seeing in the WNBA based upon what they're used to seeing in the NBA. They can't flip that switch. Women ain't supposed to be playing that hard. I think in some situations that can lean into some people's opinions. But I like to say, because I played at the professional level, I look at things as a coach would look at a game every time. I don't care who I'm looking at. I don't care if I'm looking at Saquon Barkley for the Eagles. I don't care if I'm looking at somebody for the Sixers, Joel Embiid, somebody from the Flyers, Otani in baseball. I'm looking at everything from a coach's perspective. What's your technique like? Are you giving me effort? Stuff like that. So my perspective is different. My perspective doesn't come from fandom. So I'm looking at things different. And when I see stuff like this, I'm like, what's your angle? Like, why? Again, you know how this game is played. You know the business of it. So what you're doing in the league that you started, in my opinion, doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So what's up, VVS? Welcome back. I appreciate you. Sheryl is super insecure. I've seen her and a few retired players give props, but Sheryl keeps acting miserable. Yeah, Sheryl Swoopes she's given props before too, but it always comes, it's like she flip-flopping. It's almost like she got a bipolar opinion. I need to put that on a shirt. Bipolar opinion. So, you know, the girl's had a Hall of Fame career, but her takes are trash. Cause I don't get it. I don't get it. Cody K said, "Oh, you talking about Lexi Hall, 6 from 7 from 3? She had a damn good night. Now let's see if she can do it again, because they play Minnesota Saturday, and Minnesota just signed Hines Allen. So now you got to deal with Fee Collier and Hines Allen. Who? I'm looking. Aaliyah Boston gonna get that work, and Nalissa Smith is gonna get that work because Fact Bentley's supposed to be back for Indiana, so that should help. But she's been out so long. Is she gonna be rusty? I don't know. Imagine downplaying the engine of the offense, and she was advocating for Reese to stat pad. Yeah, I heard that. That's the one thing I didn't play in that clip. About 15, 20 seconds after that clip, literally she goes, shout out to Angel Reese for another double-double when Chicago lost by 20. So it was like, and again, you ain't got to gush over Caitlin Clark. You could have kept it short and sweet. Caitlin Clark had another good game, blah, 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 blah. You didn't even have to say much, but just to completely omit it when you were so glowingly talking about everybody else. And it was just a weird thing. And like I said, that would be like me talking about the gold medal game and just saying, just completely omit Asia Wilson did anything. Kalia Copper didn't have nothing to do with that win. Not important. Not important enough to mention. Just don't make sense. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Can you relate? Are you trying to mansplain or just telling it for what it is? Any sane human being can hear, see, and understand what's going on. Facts. You gotta come to your own conclusion. Like I said before, I don't think it's racism because she talks up too many other players, too many other white players. So I don't buy that. But I will give her the arched eyebrow. Like, really? That's where you going with this? You know. Let me see. It's a lot to deal with. C2 definitely breaks the expectations of what rookies should be able to accomplish in their first year. I believe, hope, sure will come around. Rowland, that's the thing. She has. She did. She did. After the first embarrassment on Gil Arena's podcast, her and Caitlyn and her and Angel met up and they had their little conversation, hugged it out, and so it was all good. This is new. And I guess I just don't get it because it doesn't make sense to me. Keep it. Y'all hear me say this all the time, especially when I'm talking about what I do and how I talk. I try to keep it 100 and leave the toxic on the bench, right? So I will openly tell you, yes, I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. But in that same breath, I will tell you, I'm not going to discount Angel Reese's double doubles. I don't give a damn what anybody say. She putting back her own shots, and I'm like, it don't work that way. Ain't nobody sitting up under the rim letting her get free rebounds. They got just as much as opportunity to pull down rebounds as she does. But for some reason, she's out hustling everybody else under the rim. That's how I see it. I ain't never seen a game where people stand. Alyssa Thomas ain't letting Angel Reese get all the rebounds if she under the rim too. Jonquel Jones ain't doing that. She got to out hustle everybody. So she earning her stripes just like everybody else is. So I can say that as a Caitlin Clark fan. I ain't got no bones about that. I ain't got no bones about saying Angel Reese is playing head and shoulders above what anybody ever thought she would be able to do. Because I'm one of them people. I was like, nah, Angel Reese, she gonna struggle because there's women that are bigger, stronger, faster than she is playing down low. And the only thing she's done is become the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA. She out hustles everybody. Whether you like it or not. Does she miss her own shots and put them back up? Yep. But again, somebody else can be there and get that rebound and not give her that opportunity. You got to fight for what you get. So she's taking her lumps just like everybody else. And that's the way it should be. S-Dub, a couple of weeks I reached out to Angel and had a really good conversation with Angel over the phone and sent a message to Caitlin. She responded. She and I went back and forth. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to believe that. I don't know what you do. You might have to explain yourself on that one. But yo, that episode was crazy. I remember that. SW, you was just trying to be funny. I got you. It's I don't know, man. I hate when stuff gets unnecessary. That's what I hate. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like a situation. But you do need to be fair about it. And again, I said need. You should be. That's what people should do. But people don't. And I'm one of them people like, I expect people to do different things. But what happens if they don't? Now what? How are you supposed to react to that? How are you supposed to move forward when, yeah, you should do that. You should say something nice, but you don't. Now what? So it is what it is. And it's a ugly look because the league is growing and they got this undercurrent of what many people think is hate. And you got all of these other content creators and shows and everybody there is a big contingency of people that want to jump on the isms. They want to jump on the isms quick. And there's people that always, the websites, I ain't even gonna shout them out. The websites that are always looking for that angle. The reverse isms or, as much as I didn't like what Noelle Quinn did the other day when the Fever beat him. The first thing you hear is people talking about thug behavior and Skylar Diggins Smith assaulted Caitlin Clark. I was like, if y'all don't get the hell out of here with that nonsense. You can't call yourself a true fan of any sport if you think what Skylar Diggins Smith did by bumping Caitlin Clark was assault. Get the hell out of here with that. You know what assault is. You know when somebody gets hip checked, or now if she would have hauled off and dotted her eye, that'd have been a different story. That's assault. Bumping somebody because they come in to talk shit in front of your bench. I got more respect for what Skylar Diggins did, what Skylar Diggins Smith did, than I do Noelle Quinn. So, you know, people want to get into them isms, and it's like they gonna do it regardless. Those are the people that'll find a way to have something bad to say. Now, again, do I think that is it with Sheryl Swoopes? No. But I understand why people would go there, because the optics don't look right. Gary, that's a legit statement. That's a legit statement. I'll be the first one to tell people I am a rookie fan of the WNBA. You all know my story. I've told this many times. I watched games, and I watched Kelsey Mitchell, but I did not watch the league as a whole. I was looking, hey, Indiana on? Okay, got to see Kelsey play. Want to see the homegirl play. That was pretty much it. I didn't care about what conference it was in, who had the best record, all of that kind of stuff. I didn't know Connecticut had a team. I didn't. I did not. If you'd have told me a year ago, I could rattle off 10, 20 names in the WNBA and know what teams they play for and could give you at least a decent synopsis of how they are playing, I'd have called you crazy. I'd have been like, I ain't got time for that. The NFL's about to start in a week. I'm going to be covering that, but you see what it is. So I'm invested. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Relate. It's just not a good look. It's not a good look. And you got all of this stuff going. The reason I bring up, or I brought up the Connecticut game when they sold out that arena. That's not happening everywhere. They want to make you think it is, or they'll talk about how somebody's playing and they got another sellout crowd, and what they don't mention is they playing in an arena that only fits like 8,000 people. So yeah, they sold out because there's less seats in that arena than some of the main arenas, bottom rung of seats. You know, you go to some games and they only show the bottom rung of seats, because if they go up any higher, you'll realize how many people aren't at the game. So the WNBA is getting to a point where people are paying attention, and more people are going to the games. Is it the Caitlin Clark effect? No, it's a filter, not filtered. It's the trickle down effect. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the trickle down effect. Slowly but surely, because it's bound to happen. That's the natural progression. Everybody's watching Caitlin Clark, but eventually it's some people in Chicago that want to watch somebody else. Some people in Connecticut that want to watch DeWanna Bonner. It's some people in Dallas that want to watch Arike Agumbawale. Now there's some people in Seattle that want to see Gabby Williams. And it's a trickle-down effect. And it's not going to be every time Caitlin Clark. It was like that in the beginning, and you can't refute it. The broadcast results, how many people watched an event or a game, plus the people that's packing the house. Everybody got receipts. So you can't deny that. Now, slowly but surely, it was Indiana and everybody else. Then it was not Indiana. It was Indiana and Las Vegas. And the reason why I say Las Vegas was because Las Vegas was the first team to sell out their season tickets in the summer. They sold out. So Vegas was getting that crowd together. They was getting pretty decent numbers. They weren't getting Caitlin Clark numbers, but that's the closest comp you could get. And even when Caitlin Clark came down there, they had to move to the big arena. They had to move to the 18,000 seat arena and fill it up. They weren't doing that on their own. They was playing at I forget the name of the arena down there, but it seats 10,000. So it's a big arena. So as far as I saw, Las Vegas was the only team that was really putting up good numbers consistently. Now everybody else is creeping up there. New York is creeping up there. Minnesota's creeping up there. Connecticut is creeping up there. Because on top of that, they good teams. Especially, and you could say that this is this is the byproduct of what we just saw in the Olympics. Because now everybody, not like they didn't know before, but the Olympic success means something to you. I know they talked about all of that stuff during the Olympics, and who gives a damn about how many people were showing up at the games in the Olympics? In all my years of watching sports, I've never heard more about the attendance at Olympic events than I did this year with the U.S. women. It didn't make sense. Again, it was like people were just looking for shit to say because they were mad that Caitlin Clark wasn't on the team. And again, as a Caitlin Clark fan, she shouldn't have been on the team. Could she have been on the team and contributed? Absolutely. Absolutely. But as somebody who was a coach, if Cheryl Reeves wants a particular veteran team and she gets a chance to pick her people, that's exactly what she did. And you can't bitch about it. You know why? Because she came home with the gold medal. So stop bitching about it and keep it moving. But everybody was looking for something to say. So they thought, oh my God, they played Japan and there was only 8,000 people in the. Who the hell want to go see Japan? Stop playing with me. Talk to me when they get in the medal rounds and what happened. 25,000, 28,000. Then it was a different ball game. There wasn't nobody talking about it no more. Then what did they talk about? I saw a story when I was doing some homework for this show. And they were talking about, I think it may have been on Gilbert Arenas' podcast again, where the caption was the U.S. women's team should have been better. Like, well, how much better can you be than the gold medal? It's like you got to give the other team some credit too. They made it. The other people trying to get paid too. So, in this era, everybody want to be first, or everybody wants to be right, or nobody wants to discuss anything. It's either my way or the highway, and that's a shame. Because we didn't when I grew up in my era, we talked about it. Most people don't want to talk. It's like, it's my way. They want to shout you down. I love Shannon Sharp, but Shannon Sharp talking all caps. Seemed like he always yelling. What's up, Hunter? Hunter Jules in the building. Yeah. Swoopty is torturing her legacy. Props to Angel not wanting to focus on chasing stats anymore. She will be a better player for it. I think Angel's fine with doing what she's doing. That's what Angel need to keep doing what she's doing. Everybody give her crap for the double doubles, like double doubles is a stat that doesn't matter. Really? How come they make such a big deal when some of these 4 and 5 year vets get their first double double, and this girl just rattled off 20? If it was that unimportant, everybody would be doing it, and everybody can't. That's the thing. God forbid if she ever learned how to shoot a jumper from 10 to 15 feet, she'll be deadly. Then she will be putting up 20 and 25 points. So hate is just such a strong word. I'll stick with envious or jealous. Because again, Sheryl Swoopes been around the game long enough to know what the game is. Yes, you could be one of them veterans like I wish I would have, or back when I played, everybody want to compare themselves to everybody else. You know what I mean? could LeBron have beaten Jordan in his heyday in their prime? And what about Kobe? And everybody does that stuff. You can't get away from it. So it's fair. Yeah, she was rusty. Everybody was rusty. She spent too much time partying in Paris. SC, you a woman, good. I want to keep them opinions coming, and let me know. I'm like, hey, I don't want to seem like I'm just like some dude mansplaining and bashing. I ain't trying to do that. Again, I got 2 sisters. I got a twin sister, and both my sisters was me and my siblings. We all state champions. So, but I made it to the pros because my sisters didn't have an opportunity. Me and my twin talk about that all the time. Melanie, she'd be like, I wish they would have had NIL when I was playing. So I think that this is it in a nutshell. Some people have a hard time giving credit where credit is due. Right there. It is what it is. Do I think they're the 2 main leaders for the Rookie of the Year? I got to give some credit to Rickea Jackson because she gets overlooked in all of this Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese talk. Rickea Jackson is just been steadily. She averaging 15 points a game or something like that. Good stats. And she been balling. She just gets overshadowed because LA ain't winning. So Swoopes like Angel, like Carter, like Carrington may be more riding on Caitlin's coattails for real. As far as the visibility and the attention, yeah. But like even with, and I've said this a lot, Gary, if it wasn't for what Kennedy Carter did to Caitlin Clark, Kennedy Carter would be an all-star by now. Because Kennedy Carter is the best player in Chicago, in my opinion. And I'm saying that I ain't taking nothing away from Angel Reese. But if somebody ain't feeding Angel Reese the ball, you saw what happened to him. The game that Kennedy Carter was hurt or sick or whatever it was, they got blasted. Then she came back and they got blasted again. No, they won. I'll take that back. They won a game. What game did they win? They won. They lost one, and then they won. They lost by 20, and I think they won the following game. If I'm correct. Hold on, let me see. And by the way, Atlanta beat Phoenix tonight. Tina Charles had a double-double with 12 and 17. Kalia Copper had 22 points and 6 rebounds in the loss. 72-63. Atlanta, 10 and 17. DC Storm. That was Sunday. And then they lost to Chicago. And then they played Friday, right? Thought they did. Maybe that's Thursday. Yeah, so okay, they did lose 2. So they lost to Phoenix, then they lost that game on Sunday. They lost to Phoenix again. They went to Phoenix and lost 86-68. That's the game. They lost by 18 points, but that's the game Angel Reese had 19 and 20. So Paris, that's my comp for Angel Reese, Dennis Rodman. Because Dennis Rodman was like that. He wasn't the biggest, strongest, or fastest, but Dennis would out hustle everybody for them rebounds. And then later on, after he had retired and that whole era was gone, and you hear him talk about the things that he did, watching the rotation of the ball, so he knew how many times the ball would come off the rim and how many rotations and where it would normally be. Like, he studied all of that stuff, man. He put the work in. Rodman was crazy. And this is the one thing about Angel Reese that people can't deny. Angel Reese knows, I don't know if she got this from her Uncle Shaq or what, or if Kim Mulkey taught her how to do this. Angel Reese positions herself for rebounds better than anybody else. Period. Better than anybody else. So she's learned that. Let me see. Yeah, Trinity Rodman. I watched her. Glad she got the goal. She was balling. A lot of people ain't gonna like, yeah. I doubt that. I got enough. I'm building organic growth, bro. Organic growth. So it's slow. I've had a couple videos that have popped off 70, 80,000 and stuff like that. But for the most part, you know, I'm doing my thing and it's happening in the way it's supposed to happen. It's gonna happen when it's gonna pop when it's supposed to pop. So, but you know, no, I don't have anybody going viral, but I've had enough almost after every stream that I do. It's always somebody in the comments that say, hey, I like what you said, or I'll see somebody in the chat that I've never seen before. Paris, have you been in this chat before? I don't think I've seen Gary in here before. Can you relate? Have you been in here before? So I'm always coming through with new people. So my growth is slowly but surely. And just like even some of the popular ones, I might not be everybody's cup of tea, and that's cool. That's your choice. So that don't bother me, man. I'm old school, bro. SC, funny you mentioned that. Funny you mentioned that. I had that in my notes. I was ready for this one. Swoopes fired as the Loyola coach. This was in 2016. And you know this was a bad situation because they fired her right before the recruits were supposed to report to school. So whatever happened had to be bad, and they had to act. Now, I know it was said that, abuse and all of that kind of stuff. It's funny that this, we talking about this after everything just happened with Tua and Flores. Tua did that interview when he told exactly what was going on between him and Mike Flores when Flores was the coach in Miami. And I understand that when you can't, as a coach, you can't talk to everybody the same. Some people can be coached hard. Some people that don't work. You don't deal with people, you deal with personality. And if you come across somebody as a coach, it's your job to adjust to each person. You can't coach everybody the same. You can't treat everybody the same. It don't work that way. I always tell this story when I was coaching kids. I had a kid that was the biggest kid on the team. First year playing football. Biggest kid on the team. I couldn't tell that child, I need you to get to the quarterback and take his head off. Because he was a sweet kid. He didn't have that personality. Now there's another kid. He was my starting linebacker, and he was literally one of the smallest kids on the team, but he was a pit bull. He was a pit bull. And I could tell him, Seth, get to the quarterback. Do what you got to do. And that's what he would do. He had the right personality for that. So you got to deal with personalities, not people. Because what you see might not be what you get. So this was an interesting case with Sheryl Swoopes because she had a lot of gravitas with her. She had already won all her gold medals. She was out of the league, but she still had all of those accolades. And for whatever reason, still couldn't get it right. So they fired her. And it wasn't like she was, 31 and 62, I believe her record was. So just because you play the sport don't mean you good at coaching it. There's a lot of people that learned that lesson the hard way. So good point, SC. I appreciate that. Who any call a thug? Who's in queue? Oh, Noel Quinn. No. So if you're talking about what I'm thinking, you talking about. So Noelle Quinn, in her press conference after that game, she started riffing off of where she grew up in Compton, and she named some street like I was born on 42nd and Slauson or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. But she kept throwing around the word gangster. She was trying to explain what that means, and that's a cultural thing. And then, of course, those content creators and YouTube channels that I mentioned before that love to dive into the isms, they took that and ran with it. And then, of course, the first thing they'll say is, and this is the go-to thing now, is that they want to call it thug behavior. That's where that came from. At least I think that's what you're referring to. So while I don't like how Quinn handled that situation between her and Christy Size, because when I watched that in real time, first of all, when Christy Size pulled everybody off the bench, she had the starters in. Caitlin Clark was walking down the court. And Kelsey Mitchell was getting ready to defend the inbound pass. And you could see the way Kelsey Mitchell looked. Sides had to be trying to get her attention. And then she called timeout. So there was no actual play happening. So Christy Size realized what was going on, called timeout, and pulled everybody off the court. Even to the point you see Caitlin Clark like, what's going on? What's going on? And then you see Kelsey Mitchell walk up to Caitlin Clark and say something to her. And then you see Caitlin Clark go, oh, and then she gets off the field, empties the bench, and everything was good. The problem was after that, Noelle and immediately after the game, Christy Sides apologized. You can see it. She said, I apologize, I'm sorry. And all of a sudden, you see Noelle Quinn pointing the finger and all of this, and you see Christy Sides like, hey, I'm sorry. And she just kept going in. And to me, I took that as Noelle Quinn is like, oh, I'm going to get this off my chest. I'm going to give her a piece of my mind, and it wasn't necessary. So, again, the optics of it was not a good look for Noelle Quinn. Now, where I will disagree with is again, you got these people on some of these sites that are always going at that ism angle, and that's when they be throwing out the words like thug and all of that type of stuff. To me, that's where the isms come from. That's where the isms, that's what racism is, in my opinion. Because that ain't got nothing to do with thug behavior and all that kind of stuff. Or who was that? David Portnoy talking about Caitlin Clark was assaulted by Skylar Diggins Smith. No, she wasn't. Caitlin Clark was talking shit in front of the Seattle bench. And Skylar Diggins Smith gave her a little bump. She sped up and bumped her, and it was what it was. Because let's be real, if you ever played a sport and somebody from another team comes talking smack in front of your bench, what you going to do? So go all the way back and remember when I should have found that clip. Remember when T.O. scored that touchdown and spiked the ball at the Star in Dallas Stadium? He got it off one time. Then he tried to do it again. And then I think it was Emmitt Smith came out and like ran him over, something like that. And it started this big ass brawl. It was crazy. I think that was when T.O. played for, I don't think he was with the Eagles. I think that was when he was still with San Francisco. So, you gotta, nobody's gonna let that happen. So, like I said, I got more respect for what Skylar Diggins Smith did than I do what Quinn did, but it happened. It wasn't that bad. It was much ado about nothing. That's why I say the optics of it was a bad look on Quinn. But, people want to make out of it what they want to make out of it. So, but it's funny. Sheryl Swoopes ain't say nothing about that. Sheryl Swoopes had never had a problem giving anybody else they credit with other teams and something like that. So I look at the standard. Look Look at what normally happens. Let me say it like that. Look at what normally happens. If you in the chat and you got kids and you used to your kid calling you as soon as they get home off the bus, your kid calls you. And then today, for some reason, it's damn near 5:30. I ain't heard. What's going on? That's not normal. So you get used to a certain thing, and the minute something is out of order, at least it'll trip you. Huh? Something ain't right. And some of the stuff that Swoopes is saying it don't sound right. And me, it's just like you trying to figure out where is this coming from. That's all. Where is this coming from? Because to me, what's happening is Sheryl Swoopes is a legend in the game. Her basketball resume is impeccable. You can't mess with that. Whether you like what she's doing now or not. This ain't got nothing to do with what she did when she was on the court or when she was in the Olympics. This is separate. So I push all of that to the side. But I do understand when people say she tarnishing her legacy, because people are only going to remember you for the last thing you did. So it comes out like that a couple times, and I don't want to see her lose her legacy off some dumb shit that she know is wrong. Maybe she don't know. I don't know. But when you are as accomplished in the sport that she is in, there are some prerequisites that come with that, especially if you're going to call yourself an analyst or if people are coming to you for your opinion. The least you can do is know what you're talking about, and the least you can do is tell the truth. And sometimes it seems like she ain't. It seems like she trying to backhand her way into, sending some type of message or shade. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just don't look right. Tickets sold out Boston game were only $25. Good. That's good to see. They probably bought the tickets and then made a little bit off of it. Not the first time that's happened. I think I was talking last night about a lot of times when you see arena that's sold out, the ownership buys the tickets that were sold and then they give them away. So even sometimes you've ever been to a baseball game, and they tell you it's a sold out crowd, and you looking in the stadium like, where are you getting that information? Sold out crowd is based upon the tickets that are sold, not the people that show up. Because you can sell out a stadium and there'll be empty seats because somebody got sick, somebody had a last minute meeting, couldn't make it. Stuff like that happens all the time. So you're going to have some empty seats. But if they don't sell out, a lot of people will buy the tickets just to say it was a sellout. And because they do that for the media rights. Because you already know if a game doesn't sell out, it might not be on local television. So there's a couple different reasons why teams do that. So, and as far as Dejanay Carrington complaining that it wasn't on television, television deals were established and agreed upon months before the season started. So I understand what Dejanay was talking about, but that's usually not something that you can change at the drop of a dime. And although it does happen, you got to look at the track record. Why would ESPN show the Connecticut game? Because they're looking at broadcast numbers. They're not looking at how many people are actually in the stadium. Let's look at the track record for Connecticut the last 10 games. Let's look at Connecticut the last 10 games before the Olympic break. How many last couple times they were on television, what kind of viewership did they average? And ESPN may have said it's not worth it. Because who's to say they broadcast that game on ESPN3 and they only get 500,000 viewers? So ESPN took a calculated risk and they didn't waste no money. They ain't trying to give money away. So I understand what she was mad at, but it is what it is. Paris, I'm with you, man. I think Rakea gets forgotten. She definitely gets forgotten. I don't think Rakea Jackson is averaging 50 points. You know what? Listen, that's the one good thing about what I do. Will you? Appreciate the comment though. Let's find out. So let's go WNBA. We're gonna find out. And stats. And let me see. Stats. Let's look at points. Let me see. Let me see if we can find it. Let's go to the search. Rakea Jackson. Okay, 11 points. So she's 11.8 points a game, 3.9 rebounds a game, 1.3 assists, and a half a steal. So not bad. Not bad. I may have been mistaken her points per average versus what she got in the last game. I think she may have scored 15 in that last game. So 820. Yeah. Against Las Vegas, she had 15, and against Connecticut, she had 14. So that's where that came from. But she's almost 12 points a game. So she's got a solid resume for right now. So let me see. People still blowing me up on the Facebooks. Let's see. So, but yeah, man, it's I want her to see Rakea Jackson, Aaliyah Edwards. She's another one that she gets overlooked a lot. So it's just gonna happen, especially the way the game has gone this year. I ain't mad at that at all. Not mad at that at all. Cheryl Miller is the one. Everybody wants Cheryl Miller to coach after what happened in the All-Star game. And I like people forget Cheryl Miller was a coach at one time. She didn't have the greatest success. She did okay. If Cheryl Miller wanted to coach, she would be coaching. Let me say it like that. Cheryl Miller chilling, enjoying her life, living her best life. Let me see. Lexi's not a threat because she's not new face of the league. I don't think she's a threat because she's never scored like that before. That's the one good thing. We can always look and see what her stats are. And I will tell you. So check this out. Oops. So we back here, right? So this is Lexi Hall. So what you want to look at is we'll go recent games and let's look at everything, right? So we're just looking at points. So she got super hot and she rattled off. She was 6 for 7 from 3-point range, 22 points. I mean, that was the best, arguably the best game of her career in the W. But let's just look at this year. 6 points, 2, 4. When's the last time she scored in double digits? In June. She had 10 points in June in Commissioner Cup play. She had 12 points in May. So she's only reached double digits 3 times this season. So what makes people think that all of a sudden she's going to become a volume shooter and start hitting, get into the, 12-point, 15-point range? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's realistic. So it's not about, hating on her or anything like that. I'm just looking at it based on her track record. So for me, for Lexi Hall to have a good game, can I get 8 to 12 points? That's reasonable. She ain't going to score 18, 20 points. That's probably not going to happen again because you got Kelsey Mitchell Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark taking most of the shots. So she just had a day. She just had a day. What's up, Professor? Talking about Caitlin Clark's Wilson ball sold out before they even advertised it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Caitlin Clark is and let's not get it twisted. She was doing this at Iowa. She was when Iowa played at home, student tickets, and I saw this on the news. You can probably look it up on YouTube and find a story about it. It was students getting up and going to the ticket office at 4:00 in the morning to make sure they got a ticket for Iowa home games. That's how Caitlin Clark was doing it. Everybody can't do that. What's the current scores right now? Minnesota is on top of the Aces, 37-33. It's still early. I wonder if Hines Allen is playing. Is Hines Allen playing, Kev, for Minnesota? Or is she sitting out a game or two? I don't know how that works. All right, can you relate? I appreciate you, bro, coming in the chat, man. Stay up. Be safe. God bless. Listen, I like Caitlin Clark hyping up the crowd too. I like that too. I'm actually working on a video about that, about Kelsey and Natasha Cloud. I'm working on a video because I think a lot of fans, a lot of Caitlin Clark fans, a lot of just fans in general, a lot of people are soft. That's exactly how I'd look at it. Because everybody wants to go extra because they're not used to seeing it in the women's game. But if you saw that interaction, they went at it. Kelsey Mitchell ain't backing down. I know where she come from. So if you want to get to it, they can get to it. And I don't think Natasha Cloud expected that. But they did what they did. They kept it moving. The game kept going. They was mad. But I don't know if a lot of people caught it immediately after the game. Kelsey Mitchell turned around, found where Tasha Cloud was, and they hugged it out. And that was it. And then in the press conference, Natasha Cloud was like, hey, she's my dog. We go back and forth. We played AAU together and this, that, and the other. So it's all good, competitive in between them lines. And that's it in a nutshell. That's all it has to be. Because you're going to get pissed off at somebody. Because the women in the W, they just like us in football. In the NFL, everybody knows everybody. You think when you play an away game and you beat whoever, if the Philadelphia Eagles go to San Francisco, you think if we beat San Francisco in San Francisco, everybody just going to go back to the hotel? No. You know somebody on the team. Hey, I'm going to come scoop y'all off from the hotel. We're going to go to the club. And everybody knows everybody. So everybody's friends. Same thing in the W. That don't mean you can't get mad at each other and talk shit and all of that kind of stuff. It's bound to happen. And it just bubbled over. I'm surprised that I think she did get a tech. I think it was a double tech. Because technically, Kelsey Mitchell threw a punch. But they hugged it out and they kept it moving. And I'm like, that's the way it's supposed to be. If you're going to fight on the court, fight on the court. In the game, because that's where it's supposed to go down. It's all business. After, my bad, dap it up, keep it moving. And that's exactly what happened. And the reason why I say a lot of people are soft is because you act like this stuff ain't never supposed to happen. And I always use this analogy. A lot of these fans, and again, I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, but there are a lot of Caitlin Clark fans who act like you can't say nothing bad about the girl. And it's like, nah. Because if she have another game where she have like 6 or 7 turnovers, I'm going to light her ass up. Because that's what coaches do. That's what you do when you're watching game film. And you giving an honest observation of whatever her play was on that particular game. That ain't trashing her. That's saying what you see. And I guarantee you, ain't nobody a more harsh critic than Caitlin Clark probably is to herself. That's the way it goes. So people want to act like you can't say nothing bad about the girl. Just because you criticize her game does not mean you trashing her, trolling her, hating on her, shading her. That don't mean none of that. It just means you watch the game and you giving your game observations. But everybody want to act like you can't say nothing bad. It's like them parents that don't want you to coach their kid. Anything bad you say about their kid, or anytime you raise your voice to their kid, it's like they lose their shit. And I guarantee you, Caitlin Clark ain't like that. Angel Reese ain't like that. Angel Reese played for Mulkey. So they used to all of that type of stuff. And, you know, people just go overboard with it and don't have to. So, SC, I like Natasha Cloud too. I'm with you on that one. She's a baller. She's definitely a baller. No, I like Teaspoon. Teaspoon is a good coach. Teaspoon is the perfect coach for Kennedy Carter. And Teaspoon don't pull no punches. She ain't about no BS. So every time, and the one thing I've noticed this, because Chicago's struggling, but every time Chicago loses, they still embrace. And Teaspoon is one of them coaches where she embraces everybody because everybody knows her, everybody loves her. She commands that type of respect. So I don't see Teresa Weatherspoon pulling any type of BS with anybody. At least I didn't see it. You might think different. Paris Johnson, she's still a rookie. She just got here and she keep a list of top 15 players. I really see she's a decent defender to me. Who are you talking about, Paris? I know I'm back a little bit in my comments, but I'm not sure who you're talking about. You talking about Caitlin Clark or like Rakea Jackson or somebody? What's up, Ghost of Girolitis? You was here the other night, man. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure you subscribe, dog. SC, that you 100% right, and that's okay. That's okay. Early in the year, I thought Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were neck and neck for Rookie of the Year. And I thought Angel Reese was in the lead because, in my opinion, what Angel Reese was doing, she was doing with more consistency than Caitlin Clark was. Because Caitlin Clark, don't forget, she was struggling in the beginning. It took her a couple games before she found her footing, and she struggled with it. And she's still struggling with the turnovers. So from my standpoint, what Angel Reese was doing was a little bit more impressive because she was doing it consistently. And then slowly but surely, Caitlin Clark was getting better and better. And then she had that one game where she had like 30 points, and then she was like, it just kept getting better and better. And in that one game, she flipped the switch and had all them assists. Then she had then she almost had a triple-double if it wasn't for somebody stealing her rebounds. Then she finally got the triple-double, and it just kept getting better and better. And in my opinion, now, Caitlin Clark is the clear leader for Rookie of the Year. But don't get it twisted. In my opinion, Angel Reese ain't far behind, but she is behind. That's how I see it. But you're right. They are different. They play two different games, two different positions. So I don't expect Angel Reese to have 8 assists because she's playing underneath the basket. Somebody's going to assist to get the ball to her. So, yes, the Olympic team can't bitch about no one watching. All-Star team was better. I agree with that. But they still won the gold. So everything is just nitpicking. I'm about that thug life. Sometimes at Taco Bell, I have an extra bean burrito, even when my girl is begging me to stop. You knew who I was when we got together. Run for the border, dog. CC celebration at home is nothing compared to TU at the Cowboys. I know it's not, John. I know it's not, but I'm just using that as an example. And I'm just simply saying that anybody that celebrates in front of your bench, especially after they done busted your ass, you're going to feel some kind of way. I've been in situations like that where you losing and then somebody from the other team want to show out in front of your bench. And people want to come off the bench and fight and all of that kind of, it happens all the time. That's not anything new. So yeah, you're right, but you understand the point I was trying to make. What's up, C-Man? Waiting on Vegas and Lynx. Cowboys Nation always 1990. No Eagles. You're a Cowboys fan. I know you don't like the Eagles, but guess what? You know what? If you're a Cowboys fan, talk to Jerry to sign Dak. That's what you need to do. Y'all handle that problem. I'm not mansplaining. Your mansplaining antennas are high. I appreciate that. Oh my God. Listen, man, they SC, they about to get paid. They are about to get paid. Everything that they've been complaining about, the WNBA as a league, everything they've been complaining about, they are about to get. And I said this during the draft, you got to be ready to play the game. And the game is not fair. When you got companies spending over $1 billion on you, there's some things that they want to see in place. And sometimes you might get the higher ups that come down and say, this is what is going to happen. Now, this is the situation where you can go back in time, go back in the Wayback Machine. Any of y'all that know what the Wayback Machine is, shout out to you because you old school. But you got to go in the Wayback Machine and you look at what Stern did in the league when Jordan came in. That's where the Jordan rules came from. And a lot of people didn't like it. But the game is the way that it is today because he made that change. So you gotta respect it. What's up, Brandon Sleep, man? I appreciate the super chat, man. $1.99 super chat. What up, bro? Yeah, Swoopes has been on one lately, for sure. She's just been, and I like Sheryl. I've never had a problem with Sheryl Swoopes in the past. Up until the leading up to the WNBA draft, I thought she was a pretty solid analyst. That's the person you go to if you want to get somebody's opinions on the WNBA and all of that kind of stuff. And even like I said before, even when she was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, Gil's Arena, what she was saying made sense. She made a great point. She did not see, at the time, she didn't think that they were going to come in the league and just dominate. Now, it was proven to be wrong, but you let that play out. And you either right or wrong, but they're going to play it out one way or the other. And they both showed improved. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese both proved that they belong and they were ready to dominate at what they were doing. They both have done that. But that's okay. Just don't get lazy. Just don't start blurting out numbers and random shit when it could take you 30 seconds to look at your phone to just verify what you're talking about. Because if you're going to be an analyst and if your opinion is going to matter, you got to come with facts. Because if you don't, everybody say it with me now, everybody got receipts. And she just made herself look bad. And again, up until that point, I ain't never had a problem with Sheryl Swoopes, and I thought she was pretty good at what she did. But now it seems like there's always some type of agenda, backhand compliment, that sort of thing. And it's just weird. And it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Smith will not play versus Carrington. That's a whole nother conversation right there, SC. Oof. You talking about conflict of interest? Good grief. Good grief. I'm surprised. I'd be curious if Lynn Dunn and the owner said anything when she made them videos with Dejanay. Yeah, that's a tricky situation. Now, if anything is different from the NBA or what male fans are used to seeing, that is the one thing. That's the biggest issue that the WNBA deals with that the male counterparts have no idea like how to navigate. So so Nalissa Smith is dating Dejanay Carrington. So and they exchanging tweets and phone calls during the season. Is she giving information on how to guard Caitlin Clark or anything like that? Probably not, but that's a legitimate question. That's a legitimate question. So stuff like that, it's like, oof, that's kind of crazy. So that's something to watch. That's definitely something to watch. I appreciate that, SC. I try to be. NFL TV national game set like NBA and NBA before season calendar. See, man. You just throwing out random stuff. NFL TV national games set like NBA and WNBA before season Cowboys. Yes, I think I get what you're saying. Before the Cowboys became the Cowboys and they set a schedule with the way things are going. The one thing that the WNBA does that I really don't like is when they have like 3 games. Like yesterday, they had 3 games going on at the same time. You splitting your audience. But we can't talk about the WNBA like they have had tons of money and they are used to doing, big broadcast deals and having all of those options because they haven't. So I shouldn't expect them to be as polished in the final product like I do the NBA or the NFL. That's unrealistic, but people forget that. I do miss Cam Brink. I thought Cam Brink was good. I think Cam Brink would have been in that conversation for Rookie of the Year because although she was not scoring many points, her defensive game, she was blocking 4 shots a game or something like that. She was playing good defense, and she's a good player because she's a big body that can jump and can play defense and can get out to the perimeter and hit a 3. So, yeah, I like Cameron Brink. Hines Allen is playing. Okay, thank you for that. C-Man mentioned Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts sighting. Jalen Hurts was garbage in the playoffs last season, and the Eagles, like my Cowboys, that garbage. That's a whole nother conversation because Jalen Hurts, it was a mixture of both. Jalen Hurts did not play very well against Tampa Bay, but also everybody and their mama knew that there was going to be a lot of blitzing in that game. And why weren't the Eagles prepared? That is a coaching issue. It goes both ways, O'Larry. It goes both ways. You're not wrong, but it does go both ways. So, again, I try to keep it real. I like Caitlin Clark and I like Angel Reese, and they both getting it done. I like that Angel Reese got the Reese's Pieces endorsement now. Now I'm like, okay, where's Caitlin Clark's Clark bars endorsements? But then I was like, Clark bars are nasty. So don't nobody eat them. People stick with Butterfingers, and I don't even eat them things. So, oh, come on, man. Come on, C-Man. Stop it. S-Dub, I appreciate the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate you. Did I miss somebody? Who else gave me the super chat? Brandon, you already got your wrench. Cool. I don't want to forget anybody, so I appreciate that. Appreciate that, S-Dub. Appreciate that. Try to keep it even. So, and hey, and as usual, make sure you subscribe, click that like button. And most of y'all know how to find me on social media, Coach_Marcus06 on Twitter. If you ever want me to talk about something that's going on in trending sports, hit me up. Definitely hit me up. So, yeah, but I'm saying that because the WNBA, they got to get these ratings, and you split your audience. Who you gonna watch? So that's all. I mean, you're right. The NFL does it too. the NFL with the red zone on NFL, the NFL network. So it's the same stuff. Hey, use that. I tell you what, man, the one thing that I was arching my eyebrow, like the WNBA, what are y'all doing? What are y'all media team doing? What are they doing? They should have had media events with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese way before the draft. And it seems like they missed the opportunity there. But again, they don't have the resources that we think they should have. So they're not going to be able to operate like we think they should be able to operate. So that's a reality. Hopefully that'll be fixed next year. So we'll see. We'll see. Because Paige Beckers, I almost did it again. Paige Beckers is coming out, and Paige Beckers has a big social media following. So let's see if the WNBA, if their media team can get with Paige Beckers and do some stuff together to promote going into the league and in the draft and stuff like that. So it's going to get better. They got more money to play with, so it's bound to get better. So we've been rolling for almost an hour and a half. I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody in the chat. SW, you was coming with the heat tonight. Kev, as usual. Oh, Larry, don't be a stranger, my bro. William Hoover, keep it coming. I appreciate you. Joe Ankenbauer. Yes, AR fans do the same thing to Caitlin Clark. You are not wrong. It works on both sides. I'm familiar with it. You are not wrong. Who else? C-Man, Brandon Sleep. Brandon Sleep with the sticks of butter. Are you telling me I'm smooth? I appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, man, this was a good conversation. Definitely good conversation. And I'm glad we have some females in the building. Hey, tell your friends about me. I want to keep this thing growing. And by the way, got to give an announcement. I just found out through my analytics yesterday. I haven't gotten any tag or notification through vidIQ, but YouTube just told me for my overall YouTube channel, I just surpassed 1 million views. So that's a big goal for me. So I'm still trying to get my subscribers up to over 4,000. With my long-term sky goal being 10,000 by the end of the year. So I got a lot of work to do. But I just reached 1 million views. That is crazy. 1 million views for the lifetime of my channel, for this channel. So quite pleased. It's been a grind, and I'm going to keep grinding. So appreciate everybody joining me. Go finish watching the games. I'm going to finish watching the second half of this Minnesota and Las Vegas game. I'm going to have me some coffee ice cream, and I'm going to enjoy myself. I am probably not going to be on tomorrow night because I got some things to work on. And then Friday is my event with the Eagles. And then Saturday is the game where I will be down at the stadium. So look for some content. I'll be putting content out. I'm just not going live tomorrow or Friday. I might try to do live on Saturday while I'm at the game, but it depends on how the networks are going and what kind of service I can get. But at the very least, Saturday night, I will try to upload all of the content that I took at the stadium. So that should be fun. So stay tuned. Thank you for listening. Spread the word. Tell your friends about me. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.